These are the plaintiffs, Catherine and Daniel. Catherine says she hired the defendant's company to provide a limo for their wedding day, and the guy never showed up at the agreed-upon time. She says they had to pile into their pastor's van because they were having their reception on a boat and the boat wasn't waiting. They ended up getting there an hour late. They missed their first dance. They missed their pictures during the daylight hours, and they're out $3,123.03, the exact amount they're suing for today. This is the defendant, Gary McKeon. He admits his driver misread the paperwork and was 45 minutes late for the pickup, and he refunded the plaintiffs the full amount for the limo ride. Then the plaintiffs told him they wanted to be paid $1,000 for their missed time at the wedding, and he was going to hand it over until they upped it up to $3,000 and threatened to go on social media to exploit him and purposely try to ruin his reputation. He's accused of being a little late.
All parties, please use your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right, let me, first of all, congratulations on your marriage.
Thank you.
When was your wedding date?
September 28th.
Okay. So you had planned a wedding, and the wedding involved a ceremony?
Yes, correct, in Plantsville, Connecticut.
And then a 1-hour drive to the reception.
Yep, it was an hour and 5 minute.
An hour and 5-minute drive, assuming everything's okay, to the reception. And the reception was taking place on a sailboat?
It's a 110-foot sailing vessel, Mystic Whaler, berthed in New London, Connecticut.
Okay. And your, if everything had gone as planned, your wedding ceremony was supposed to end at what time?
The ceremony was ending at 1:30 about. We were doing pictures until 2:30 when...
The limo ride that you had reserved the defendants for a limo ride, and that limo ride was supposed to show up at what time?
At 2:30, and I have that in the contract.
Your sailing time was what?
At 4, from 4 to 7. We were expecting to get there contractually by like 3:30, 3:35, so that we would have approximately half hour to take pictures at the pier, coordinate with people who was going to be responsible for...
You cut it really close, woman.
Well, I will tell you, we worked very hard.
What day of the week was this?
Saturday. Yeah. Yeah.
An hour and 5-minute drive on a Saturday, and you buffered it with 0? All right, so what happens at 2:30, the limo's not there?
Yeah, it wasn't there, so we just gave it a few more minutes. 2:45, when it still wasn't, I went digging for my phone, and I saw a missed call at 2.
You really are relaxed. Okay, at 2:45, you see him.
Well, that's the thing. In the initial message they left, it just said that the chauffeur was running super behind.
Super?
That's all.
Who placed that call? Was that you?
I did.
Okay, and you left a message saying he's super behind? That's it?
Yes.
You didn't say he will be there at 3. He will be there at... You didn't say anything. You just said super behind.
Well, there was background to that as well. I mean, I'm a mom of 5 kids, and it was a weekend.
How could that possibly have background here?
Because I wasn't in the office, so...
Well, why isn't someone working who's tasked with making this phone call? I don't understand what you're saying.
As a general manager, the responsibility comes to me, and then I make those phone calls right away.
Okay, so I don't understand. Why aren't you leaving a message saying he is X time behind, he will be there at Y? Why aren't you leaving a specific message?
Because I was absolutely upset at the fact that my chauffeur was late to begin with, and then to hear the message that we were late for a bride on her wedding day, I was absolutely... distraught.
So one would think that that would propel you to understand how mad she's going to be and actually leave a message that says the time. So what do? Do you end up calling them?
I did. I called them and didn't get through. I got the series of prompts, and while I'm sitting on hold, she called me, so I was able to switch over.
So what time did she call you?
It was 2:47.
Okay.
And she told me that at that point that the driver wouldn't be there till 3:30.
So you bolted.
Everyone's
well, of
gone.
course, you're not going to wait till 3:30 if you have a sailing test. So what did you do? You all piled into the pastor's car.
Well, that was the thing, is we had no options at that point. The pastor wasn't even aware. He was off somewhere else. And so we're at the back of the church brainstorming what to do. And it wasn't until about 3:15, that she called back and said that she hadn't been able to find anybody. And so the pastor noticed that we were kind of agitated, trying to figure out what to do. And he came over, asked us what was going on. When we explained, he said he had an 8-person van that we could use to pile in.
Do you have any affidavits from the pastor? Or any of your bridesmaids, anybody who can testify that you actually didn't leave for your 4 o'clock wedding until 3:15?
I have the copy of the email I sent her.
That's after the fact.
Stephanie.
That's after the fact. I'm asking about.
Well, no, it says we got into the personal vehicle and we are on their way now because we didn't
Oh
want to
yeah,
wait.
let me see that. Let me see that. So that was like simultaneously with.
I was typing
in
that
real
up while I
time.
was in the
In
car
real
to
time.
let her know
Yeah,
that
no
we had
bride should
found
have
an
to do
alternative.
this on her wedding day. Please tell the chauffeur his services are no longer required at this point. She does send you that at 3:30.
And the frustrating part, Your Honor, is when I talked to her a couple days later after this all happened, she informed me that the chauffeur had to go to a garage to pick up the vehicle an hour before he was supposed to be there. And
The chauffeur. There is no question they're at fault. There is no question. They don't deny they're at fault.
Oh no, yeah,
they know that their guy misread it, didn't. I hope you fired him because that's outrageous.
No, they told me he was somebody of 25 years.
Well, then maybe he's past his prime. I don't know. But how can you possibly risk having him be in charge of a bride again?
He's actually one of our top tier
That's
chauffeurs.
sad.
We are totally devastated about this, and
Are you? Because
yes, we
I'm
are.
not sure if you're still using him for other brides. I'm not sure you're devastated. Now let's talk about your lawsuit. So the first thing they do, obviously, is return your money because they didn't provide the service. All right. Then the next thing they do is you talk to them and you tell them. Well, first let me go back in time. You get there at what time?
4:40.
You get there at 4:40 instead of getting there at 3:30,
3:30,
which is what the time you thought you were going to get there. Okay, so what ends up happening? You get there at 4:40 and you are suing for $3,000. First, you discuss with them that you thought it was fair if they settle for $1,000 for ruining your wedding. You tell them, are you prepared to pay $1,000? Then at some point they offer you the $1,000. Then you say, you know what? That was before I thought it through. I didn't want 2/3 of a wedding. I wanted a full 3 hours of a wedding, and I now demand that you guys pay the $3,000.
In the conversations thereafter, I tried to explain, and I even put it succinctly in an email to them on October 2nd, that after going to the reception, as it turned out, it was, I don't know if I can give you this, but it's a before and after of the expectation of what we planned, the timeframes.
Tell me about it. I'd rather hear you testify about it.
Okay, how do we phrase this so well?
Here, give it to me. Forget it. I'll do it.
I worked really hard on it.
I got it. There's nothing I love more than someone who works hard. I don't mean to. Oh, look at that. It's even on hard paper. So planned activity, 2:30, leave church in limo. Actual activity, waiting at church and brainstorming with bridal party how to get to boat. You expected at 3:45 to have the food delivered hot by La Cuisine and brought on board. Instead, you're still traveling. You had expected things to happen at 4 and 4 something, the bride and groom, the dance. So you didn't have your first dance you were going to have your first dance on the dock with the guests on the boat.
It was going to be on the boat while we were still docked. So
on the boat while you were still docked. And so
not moving.
So that didn't happen. You departed the dock as soon as you got there because you had to.
Correct.
What did you guys do in the 2 hours? Because you're also suing for is you want to be reimbursed for 12 bottles of apple cider.
Right.
Because you didn't get to
do the toast.
Okay, but why didn't you do that? Why didn't you just do it?
Because
you forgot about it, is what you said in the caption to the bottle photo. We forgot about it in the rush. Right?
Well, at that point, we forgot about it because we were so distracted trying to reheat all the food that it showed up at 3:45. By the time we got there at 5, it was cold because we had to reheat all the food, and the chicken was dry because it had to be reheated. Anybody knows you reheat chicken, it's drier.
Okay, who did the reheating?
It was a mix of the guests, the crew, my mother-in-law, my mother.
Yeah. See,
bridal party.
There are so many ramifications to blowing this. It's not just she wanted a 3-hour wedding, but it's not just that she got 2 out of the 3 hours. She didn't want a 2-hour wedding. And then there's this. What do you think is fair? Did you discuss with her anything? What did you?
I personally have not had any conversations with the bride
I mean, that alone tells me something. Are you the owner?
No, yes, I am.
Right. I mean, that
Yeah.
alone tells me something. When you got
After-
the lawsuit, you didn't call her and say, can we settle this?
Well, she offered, at one point, she said that, she was going to damage her reputation on social media, and at that point,
Do you, let me see that.
it
Did
goes
she
from
send you an email saying, I'm going to damage your
believe so, right?
reputation on social media unless you pay me more? That doesn't sound like her.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Are weddings just too stressful?
I actually used to be a wedding planner.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so I would say yes.
Were you a good wedding planner?
I hope so.
Did you ever get sued?
No.
That's good.
Yes, that is good.
What were they pissed off about most?
A lot of times it would just be like the small things.
Like what?
Like timing wise, things would be a little messed up because the bride didn't want
I would think it would be food.
The food is usually pretty good. Depends on the caterer.
What do you say?
Well, actually, my mom, she may have actually, whenever she did her wedding, she had a divorce. So, like, she did all that stressfulness and went through all that because she was really into her wedding and wanted it to be perfect.
She got divorced because of the wedding?
Divorce. Yeah.
What a waste of money, man.
It was a waste of money.
Yeah, she could have bought a condo for that.
Exactly.
Right, going inside the courtroom.
Your Honor, if you read the whole context of that.
I am. That's my
Yeah.
plan. That's why I asked for the whole thing. Because I read some of your emails and they were incredibly
even,
polite under the circumstances.
Even at the point where
Thank you for, stop talking over me. Thank you for the response. I can appreciate you feel efforts have been made to balance business aspects and the need to resolve the situation. Unfortunately, my initial comment about 1,000 isn't accurate.
Congrats.
It became abundantly clear that the ripple effect, and I agree with you, of the bridal party's late arrival by an hour was irreparably significant. However, if you would like to avoid court and negative reviews, that's what you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay, but she has an absolute right to give you negative reviews.
Absolutely.
I would give you the negative reviews. You guys didn't show up for a bridal's wedding and ruined her wedding. So, I mean, hopefully it didn't ruin your wedding. Hopefully you found joy in your wedding. Hopefully, you're right. Hopefully, because let me tell you that marriage becomes so much harder than this, okay, as someone who's been married for 26 years. So you gotta go with the flow. You gotta go with the flow. And I'm sure everybody who was there loved you and everybody was happy to be there. And I'm sorry that it didn't work out as planned. But why is that somehow nasty? That's not like blackmail. That's not blackmail. You made it sound like it was blackmail. It's just like, yeah, you want to avoid, court and negative reviews. I think that the appropriate amount's $2,000. You disagreed. That's why we're in court.
Yes.
So now, what is the appropriate amount? You think it's just the $1,000? I'm not sure that it's just the $1,000. If I were you, in an effort of goodwill, I've been in business 25 years. A customer's always right. I can't believe we ruined her wedding. I would have offered her $2,000, but you guys chose instead to go to court. So now it's really up to me, isn't it? You caused her to miss a third of her wedding. Miss a third of her wedding. And then because they're in charge of their own food, that is happening. Things are having to be reheated. People are scrambling, trying to, do the things that they weren't able to do beforehand. Reheating food dries it out. There's a certain amount of human cost to that, I'm ordering you to pay the bride $3,000. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So the limo company is found at fault and they get hit with a $3,000 judgment. You smiled all the way through. You're still kind of smiling now. What are you thinking?
Well, like we said before, we are deeply saddened by what we did.
Yeah.
We take great pride in everything that we do. And if this is what the bride and groom were looking for, and they rightly deserve something, then by all means, it was the right judgment.
Well, good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sorry, maybe next time you'll make sure your driver's on time,
We'll
right?
see what happens.
Okay, good luck to you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, Catherine and Daniel are on the way out of the courtroom now. How you feeling? You feeling good?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Did you think you'd get this kind of a judgment or not?
Well, I think both of us assumed that if the judge understood or could see where we were coming from and the ripple effect that
she sure
it
did.
caused, it ended up being a mess and we made the most of it, but it definitely was not what we paid
You
for.
spelled it out very carefully for her, which is
We
very
tried.
good. Okay, well, congratulations. How's
Thank
married
you.
life?
It's good. It's
great.
Good.
Good?
love it.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Glad
so
you look. Okay, very good. Harvey?
Doug, I got to tell you, if you start messing with people on social media and defame them, they can sue you.